Is that pedophilia or not to imagine you as a child and me as a stern schoolmaster
Not quite. It's on the cusp.
just fingering you?
Well, yeah, then, yeah, once that happens, yeah. It's funny you would mention that. A topic that's been on my mind is how I know some dudes who think that women should not look all that sexy in video games because that makes them bad role models. And then I know other people who are women who say, I won't play a video game unless I can play as a sexy woman because I hate ugly people.
Yeah.
Male or female. It's a weird kind of flipperoo there.
Yeah, there's something I've come to realize in
Yes.
terms of LGBT issues, race issues, gender issues. No matter what you say, you will piss 50% of the population off. No matter what you say, 50% of the population will agree with you, no matter what stance you take. So there's literally no right answer, so just do whatever.
Yeah.
Just make her sexy if you want a video game character who's wearing just some dental floss to barely cover her nipples and her areola is peeking out. You might as well do it, because either you're gonna dress her completely up and piss off one set of people, or you're gonna do what you're gonna do and piss off another set of people. So you might as well just fucking do what fucking ever.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, is it pedophilia or not is coming up? I'm only joking.
I thought you were done with that.
I am
can't
done
remember.
with that.
You are.
Well, this is a bit of an impromptu podcast because, but we've started. Don't worry about that. We've already decided that. Fuck it. We've already started. Welcome to Podtoid, whatever. I'm Jim Sterling. I'm here with Jonathan Holmes.
Hi.
And I'm here with Max Scoville, and here's the reason why this is sort of an early... Well, it's going to be early for us. I'm going to release it at the same time, but it's early for us because Max has got a day free. But it's a kind of a special... I mean, I say special episode, but...
Are you still in that paper bag, Max?
No, I'm right in it.
Are you in the kids' litter?
No, I'm not in cat litter.
I don't believe Max. I'm trying to do your big thing and build it up, and you're
fucking it up.
Acting. I'm not. But you're like a cat in a plastic shopping bag.
Do I still sound like that?
No, it's weird.
Hold on, let me see if it's. Hold on here. What about now? Is that better?
Sounds really good now. What'd you do?
Yeah.
I switched the mic. It's the same thing that happened before.
Oh.
Somebody was using the microphone wrong. Anyway.
Oh.
So is that better? Do I not sound like I'm in cat litter anymore?
Sounds so good now. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry.
Sounded like a monkey covered in sandpaper.
I love that. That's just like a monkey that's just like just jumps on people and makes them have scabs.
I was going to try and come up with a name for it, and then I almost said sand monkey, and I realised that would be a terrible thing to say. Because
really?
I think that's racist.
Sand monkey.
Don't keep saying it!
I can say it. I'm immune.
Of course, because you've got the slightly not white diplomatic immunity.
I might be a sand monkey.
Yeah, you don't.
Well, you know. Yeah.
That's okay. You can say that. That's your word. You took it back.
Yeah, that's right. I made it good. That's another thing I like talking about is taking it back.
Yeah, damn right. And I'll tell you what, for the white men, I'm taking back racist. That's the word I'm bringing back. I'm taking back racist for the white.
Yeah.
Making
so
it
what?
good
I'm a
again?
bigot. I'm a bigot. I'm proud of it.
Damn right.
I'm a bigot. You're a little. I'm a bigot. Whatever.
I'm out and I'm proud.
I like that bigot sounds like a racial slur. You're a bigot.
Yeah. It's really mean to call someone a bigot, more so than to call them a sand jockey or whatever you just said.
Go back to bigotry, Stan.
You moon cricket.
Moon cricket?
Did
you just make that up?
No, that's actually a thing. I don't know what moon cricket is. I used to go on the internet racial slur database. Which was just like a list of racial slurs. Like the internet already isn't that.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Here come the fire engines.
I like the ones for the British because they're not actual racial. They're racist words for other people, but they've just put a British thing next to it. So you've got rain gook and things like that. And
rain gook.
Rain gook and tea nigger and things like that. It's just
that's really I like. There was one that was for the Irish that was potato nigger, and it's like that's so.
Oh,
That's just like. That's like magnetic poetry with racism. That like it's at this point racism is just so modular that it's like I at one point my friend and I were trying to make up racial slurs for God. It was a low point.
Lord
Yeah, I think one of them was cloud fucker. Yeah. There was it was alpha and omega queer. I think like it was like.
The beginning and ending queer. Yeah.
Literally thinking back on that, like, was I?
It's a shame because we've put so much stock into just a small amount of words that if you want to invent a new one for it, like if a new group of people turn up, you can't use anything else because to make something up doesn't quite work. So you have to just bolt one word onto an existing word, which is just lazy, and I don't want lazy racism. If you're gonna be racist, put some effort into it, and then it's okay.
Yep, that's right. Work on your racism, kids.
Well, we talked about racism.
I like it because it's imagine that racial slurs or offensive words are just are weapons. Like they are guns or knives, and then imagine that combining them with other kind of ordinary things like that's like gluing a knife to something. It's not a weapon. That's like what if you had like football that had a knife on it? You're like, yeah, that's right. It's a special weapon. It's used for killing jocks. Like that's gonna help somehow. Like, I mean, I guess the Penguin does that. Like he has umbrellas that are guns. That's really stupid.
He has several. Yeah. Yeah, he enjoys it. He's creative. As long as you're creative about it, I think that you can call it valid in some way. Maybe. Yeah, it was a pretty general expression I just made there. I'm pretty sick. I'm lying around. I had a stomach spasm earlier. I kept it quiet though. Didn't want to interrupt your talk. No, it's a cold. It's a kind of a weird cold.
I'll be alright though. For a while. I just actually mute my mic and blow my nose.
Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't even notice.
So yeah, Jim was starting to say this, but this is going to be my last episode of Podtoid for a while, of regular Podtoid, I think.
It's very sad.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's a national tragedy. Really.
I mean, basically, Max didn't want to bring this up, but I mean, I don't know if any of you know this, but he is was part-time Snow, the rapper, who did the famous song Informer. And he's had a bit of a resurgence. Like, VH1 keeps showing those top 100 shitty things from the 90s. And, no offense, Snow. And he is basically enjoying a revival. He's going to go on a revival tour, and he's going to play Informer and an acoustic version of Informer. So that's going to be a really good tour, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to be playing the Stonestown Galleria Shopping Center. I'll be playing the food court there. They got a little stage that they've set up for me. The folks at VH1 have been really, really supportive. When I come around and they interview me for little things. They haven't actually thrown down and given me a full behind the music, but they have had me come on. I love the 80s and 90s, and they had me come on. Best week ever, even though I was out that week, but I still was, just talking about that week. And then they let me, they let me pick and choose of what's left of the Danishes they have out for the talent. That's great. They don't want me to fuck up the main spread, but they let me come in and,
it's very exciting.
They're like, we were going to throw this out, but you can have it if you're hungry. And I'm like, oh, great. Scones.
And that's just the kind of top-notch treatment you can expect when you're Snow. I hope I'm not going to step on anyone's toes by announcing this, but I've been sitting on it for weeks, and Snow, or Max as you know him on Podtoid, will actually be releasing an autobiography, Licky Boom Boom Now, the Snow story, which...
What's your Boom Boom Now?
I don't know what it is.
Is this a
clip
show? Are we doing a clip show right now?
Actually,
we kind of are.
No, that's the interesting thing, because the last time I cracked on that Max Scoville was... And then I said Max Snowville, because that was my best joke I've ever told, Max Snowville, right? The last time we did that, that was the one Podtoid we did that never recorded properly. So it never went out. And I was like, well, if Max is going, I'm bringing it back. I'm taking that back as well. Okay. I'm taking that back for the white man as well. Max Scoville is snow. For too long, that's been in the hands of our oppressors.
That's it's like spending research money to resurrect somebody that wasn't really that great to begin with. You know, that's like going through like the random obituaries, like that joke. I mean, like it's just, I can't believe we brought that joke. I have a joke. I have a joke that I'm currently doing a publicity tour for this joke because I think it might be the best joke I've ever told.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm particularly proud of this joke. It is a joke that I feel like I had been gestating for 10 years. It was literally like an epiphany when I thought of this joke. I put it out on Twitter yesterday. I don't know if anybody saw it. I think a few people saw it, but it's really. Are you ready for this joke that I'm about to tell?
I think I'm ready. Yes. I think I'm prepared.
Uh-huh. Okay. Oh no, Goku has been diagnosed with cerebral palsy. You know, like Dragon Ball Z, but
yeah,
that's fucking awful, but that is what makes it so good.
Is that the whole joke?
Isn't that a terrible joke? Like I seriously feel like I'm passing a kidney stone telling that joke. I feel like I was meant to be 2002, and it just hit me yesterday. And it's such a weight off my shoulders. It's ridiculous.
That is brilliant. I've got a new ambition, by the way.
You do?
I've got a new ambition. I always like to have some new ambitions because I basically achieved everything I could in my life, and I'm a major success story and a testament to the white man's power, right?
God, this fucking show.
Your career is going to be so good now that you're leaving, Max. You will have, it's going to be great. I think you'll go from because you'll no longer be ashamed. And you'll be able to look Jesus in the eye. Because I know whenever I talk to someone about maybe some freelance work, the memories of Podtoid come into my brain and I can't look them in the eye. And then I just look down at their balls while I'm trying to pick something. And then they don't give me the job because they think I'm going to try and mac on their balls. But anyway, I've got a new ambition. I was talking about this the other night with Alex because she and I don't know why we were talking about them, but we were talking about the band Ratt, R-A-T-T, the hair band from the 80s. And I want to do a documentary on their fans. Because I don't know if any are there. Because Ratt are the Naked Gun of music. The kind of thing where if you hear it, you'll listen, but you'll never go out and buy it. But there's got to be some people that do. There's
I own the Naked Gun.
Somewhere
I love that movie.
See, you are the Ratt fan of the movie.
I've got tons of Ratt records. Tons of Ratt records at home.
You know what? My friend has Ratt on cassette, but I think he bought it because it was funny.
Yeah.
But that's a good point because there are those bands where it's like the ugly friend of the hot girls, you know?
Yeah.
Like nobody's like Ratt is my absolute favorite band. They're like I like Def Leppard and I kind of like Ratt. Like I like these other bands that were more popular at that time. I also like Ratt.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like nobody's like I mean I guess there are people out there who are like, you know, Manowar is my favorite band. But more often you'll have people who are like I like Iron Maiden and I like Judas Priest and I also listen to Manowar. Like that's like it's like a side effect.
I mean, there are a few bands that do it because Ratt are, you know, it's fair to say they're something of a one-hit wonder, but they're not like
what
Twisted.
Was their one hit, Jim?
I can't even remember.
I don't even know. Yeah,
that's the best thing. Like they're a one-hit wonder, but they're too obscure even for that because even though they had a hit, no one knows what it is. It's like you compare it to another one-hit wonder like Twisted Sister. And everyone remembers it because, you know, you've got Dee Schneider looking all extravagant and it's a very memorable song. But Ratt, it's such... Because Dee Schneider you'd mention for a joke and everyone would laugh and say, oh, ha, he is so brilliant, he looks like a Disney henchman. And that's all funny. But Ratt, they're so a nothing. They are just a nothing. That to mention them is brilliant on a genius level. It's just like they're a fantastic cultural reference. And I want to know what their fans look like. Because I think it's going to be brilliant.
I can help you with that.
Fantastic.
I was there.
Have you ever seen Heavy Metal Parking Lot?
Not the whole thing.
It's a movie. It's like I think it's like a half-hour documentary, and they just interview heavy metal fans in a parking lot in the 80s or the early 90s or whatever, and it's really funny because they're the people we're talking about. They're Ratt fans. They might not be solely Ratt fans, but they're people. They're people in parking
I want to
lots.
shed light on this. I want to use my age and my experience in life to help you guys understand Ratt fans, because I was there. I'm a good 10 years older than you guys. 10 whole years. So I remember the guys who would say Ratt is my favorite band. They're the same guys who would say today, like, The Darkness is the best game ever made. Oh, no, it's pretty good. No, it's the best.
Oh,
you know,
boy.
there's these games that are pretty good, but they're not top of the line. But there are people that would say that they're their absolute favorite. Jim, you would say Dynasty Warriors is one of your favorites, right?
Yeah, but they're still...
Jim?
Dynasty Warriors has
You are a Ratt fan.
No, because Dynasty Warriors has a
fan.
big enough hatred that everyone still knows it. With Ratt, it's surrounded by so much apathy. Like, again, just like... I don't think anybody hates Ratt. No one could hate Ratt.
Oh,
you either
you
know it or you don't. And that's it. Like, you know it and think Ratt's pretty good, or you're one of those very select few that love it, and then the rest of them don't know who Ratt is.
They should bone up on
That's
the
pretty
Ratt.
valid. Yeah, bone up on the Ratt.
Because there's some interesting Ratt facts.
Do some rat boning. Some rat boning up in
As
here.
you probably know, I believe
Well, there's
it
the
was a singer.
title for Podtoid this week, anyway.
Okay, I got a
boning?
similar thing. I like the idea of comparing fans of an 80s rock band to fans of a video game in 2012. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I think that's like an interesting way of thinking about things. I recently did Jim and I both did our little reviews of my review was a little review. His was an actual review for Twisted Metal. You gave that a 7, Jim, right?
Yes, I did, sir. And I saw the comments on your YouTube one. Oh dear.
I got some. I'm sorry. Like, Twisted Metal, I never said it was bad. I did not say it was bad. It is. If it came out as a new game in this day and age, like with no backstory whatsoever, it would be. It would probably have sold. I'm guessing around like Never Dead did. Like, it wouldn't have blown anyone away. I'm not. Never Dead is a broken fucking game. It's a broken fucking game. But Twisted Metal, like, it's been 11 years since the last game, and releasing what they released and being like, yeah, here it is. You've been waiting for this. And at the same time being like, there are people who play video games who were not born yet when the last game came out. I mean, I know it's rated T for teen, but the fact is there are children who are going to be playing that game.
Twisted Metal is the Ratt of video games.
No, Twisted Metal is the Insane Clown Posse. Insane Clown Posse all the way.
That is much. I was just trying to do a callback and failed, but you actually
just want to talk about Ratt and Snow. God, Jim.
I think the Insane Clown Posse of gaming is
I want to do that. I want to apply for a job. I've been thinking about this because I don't need a real, actual in-place job at the moment. I was thinking of, like, applying to jobs at Denny's and stuff. Just to do it. Just to go to Denny's and work it for a week.
Just to apply or to actually work there?
Maybe
you want the actual
work
job?
there for a week. But to see if I can get the job with, like, a really shitty resume, and I might put that on my interests and just Snow Ratt. I'll have to do Snow brackets music and Ratt brackets extra T.
Or lifestyle or something along those lines. Whoa. Phone call. Should I take this on? No, I can't take this on the air. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm pretty out of it.
I like your ringtone.
I feel good. Yeah, it's cute. It's classic. Yeah, it's a little ring there. A lot of people don't even have rings on their phones anymore. I wonder when that's going to be considered like
a lot of ladies don't have rings on their fingers. What's your point? What's your point?
Oh,
you got a problem with these single phones?
I don't. Doing the joke, doing your comedy jokes.
So anyway, Max, you were telling us about.
So Twisted Metal, like, I don't.
Oh yeah.
like I was honest. I was pretty straightforward about what I was saying. I was like, I'm not like a diehard fan of the franchise, and I feel like a lot of people who are excited about the game are, and they're kind of playing it like, oh yeah, like there's the nostalgia factor. Like I played it a little bit as a kid. I never owned it. I never really got into it hardcore. So it's effectively coming at like a game that's new to me, that's being released as a new game for full price. It's a new game. It's 2012, and I was not impressed. I thought that there was not really. It seemed like it was kind of made in a vacuum. Like it did not seem like it paid attention to what other games are doing, and it's like. I'm always, I obviously like I push for innovation and stuff, and I like to see new ideas even if they don't work. But this was kind of between playing it safe and actually trying something new.
Yeah, I've tried that. They see through it, right through it.
You tried what?
To play it safe with a review and be like,
oh,
I want to try and put this diplomatically because I do kind of like it, but there are problems. They see right through it.
It doesn't matter. Unless I was wearing fucking clown paint and going, yeah! I feel like there would still be a lot of people who are like, fuck this guy. This guy's a gay. Look at him.
So they're mad at you that you didn't like it enough.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like that. I mean, I guess the fact that we're actually doing reviews on the show now is like starting to see more of that. This was probably the first game that, I mean, I guess Kingdoms of Amalur, I wasn't really a fan of that. But Twisted Metal, it was just me. It was a series, so it had a fan base. Amalur was a new property, so a lot of people just didn't give a shit. But Twisted Metal, you've got these people who I don't think have bought video games for 11 years. They're like, "Do you play video games?" No, I play Twisted Metal. That's more than a video game.
Sure. Did anyone call you a hipster? Did they say you were a hipster, Max, for liking something that or not liking something?
It seems everyone took my hate because I gave it a 7, which by Sony exclusive standards, I basically shanked Kazharai on the end of his dick. But I didn't really get much criticism. I got away scot-free. Meanwhile, I mean, you got a lot of shit, and that guy from G4 TV got slaughtered, not just by Jaffe, but a whole bunch of fans and other critics. They were all criticizing him for doing things that I've done a lot worse versions of before. Like, I've called... I'm pretty sure I've referred to some of my readers as cancer patients or implied that their dad has been fiddling with them, and I've gotten no shit for that, whereas this guy basically he just made one lame basement dweller joke, which was, fairly mediocre, and got all this shit, and I got away with it.
Okay, that is totally out of line. That is completely out of line to imply that fans of Twisted Metal live in houses that have basements and are not just propped up with cinder blocks.
That is, yeah.
No, it got pretty shitty reviews. Like, I feel pretty good knowing that I wasn't like going out on a crazy limb or like going like it was my opinion, and I just like. It's that, am I totally crazy, or is this, like, not really anything to write home about?
Reviews were up and down. Yeah, there were some really positive ones, there were some negative ones. They were all across the board for that, so it's a game that I think is going to have a lot of different opinions, because it's such a... Like, it's a solid game, but it is deep, like, steeped in old-school sensibilities, so there are going to be some that are forgiving of that and some that aren't, and just fucking get over it. If you don't like one review, there's going to be... This is one of those ones where there's going to be a ton that back up whatever opinion you have. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's opinions are like, that's what we do, is we just give our opinions on games. And the fact that we are people who play games for a living, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're like better at... Like, we're critics. And it's like, when you become a critic of a thing, you like sort of get yourself... You get embroiled in it. Like, you're stuck in it. You're seeing it. You're not really seeing the forest for the trees, or you're seeing all the trees in the forest or something. But it's like people who are like, man, I haven't used my PlayStation in a while. I'm gonna go check out a game, and then they buy a game and they're like, they take it home and they're like, yeah, this is fun. They have fun with it. It's like games are by nature a fun thing. So sure.
Yeah. Well, I've been dealing with this on Destructoid when I'm trying to get reviewers together that play a lot of games, because sometimes we'll get a reviewer who. He only really plays a game, like a new game, once every couple of months, and so he's not really on top of all those releases. And I find they're more forgiving, which is fine in its own sort of thing, but, you know, I want, at least for Destructo's reviews, I want guys that have played enough to just have a healthy bit of cynicism, just not completely burnt out, but just what I call pleasantly jaded, where they're going to be legit surprised by a really good game still, but, you know, they've got less of a tolerance for mediocrity, and we're doing a lot more of that on Destructed, which I'm very proud of, but yeah, like you say, you know, some people don't play games all the time, and they're going to have a bit of a less cynical opinion of something, and, you know, that's their deal, but they can't seem to accept that other people have their deal. It's... Well,
it's just weird, because, like, people are jumping on there and, like, defending this game before it's out. Like...
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay,
that.
like, there's people who do that. It blows my mind. Yeah.
Well, they're part of the nation. You know, they're in Twisted Metal Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're Juggalos.
I haven't dealt with review bullshit since. Sorry.
What made me think of that specifically was we were talking about Heavy Metal Parking Lot and comparing things in times and places, and I said that Twisted Metal fans are Juggalos. There's a documentary called Gathering of the Juggalos that is just I think it's like 20 minutes. It's online. It's on Vimeo or something, and it's just a camera turned on to Juggalos at the Gathering of the Juggalos, and they're just talking. And there's no editorial, like, there's no narrator, there's nobody interviewing. There's just these people talking. And it's like, I don't know any Juggalos. Like, I don't know what that's about. Like, I've just pretty much judged it from afar. I just think it's really stupid. And there's some people who do that, but it's like, that's cool.
Out?
Like, huh?
Does poop come out? The thing I know about Juggalos is that it's part of their culture that you can just poop and let it fall out of the cuff of your pants, at the bottom of your pants, and just have a little poop fall out.
I believe that.
I did that.
I mean, the amount of shit that just falls out of their mouths.
You're telling me that? I did not. I'm. That sounds like something Jim would say. If Jim said it, I wouldn't believe that. I would be like, "Go on, Jim.
I'm pretty
tell
sure
us about the poop." But the fact you said that.
Actually, no. I don't lie about shit like that. I mean, you'd know I was joking. When I lie, I do it about things that are so stupid, there's no point lying about them. And that's how I get people, and that's how I constantly trick my friends and family. Like when I tell them that the song Hey Mickey, You're So Fine, You're So Fine, You Blow My Mind was a song written about Mickey Rourke. And I do it, and I say it so matter-of-factly, with the confidence of a past fact, that people will believe it. Just long enough for me to, because they'll then follow up with, you know, really, and then I'll just say, I don't know. And then they will know. But that's when I lie. I wouldn't lie about poop coming out of a Juggalo's butt.
That reminds me of Milton Berle. No, they poop a lot. They threw the poop on Tequila, I think. She showed up and she's like, hey, and thinking it was going to be like everyone loves her because she's Tequila, and then they just threw poop at her from the cuffs of their pants.
You know,
I think Tom Green was there too.
I love it because you know, we live in a, like, I was thinking about this. I've been sort of paying attention to just, I guess, I don't know, just paying attention to the world around me more in a different way or something. But just like looking at it, sort of, if I was an alien, what I think of this strange place, Earth, and these people here.
Yeah, I feel that way a lot. Yeah,
and it's I spend so much time on the internet, which is typically I surround myself with, like, simultaneously the dumb people on YouTube and Twitter, and a lot of really smart people who just are on the internet. So they, like, kind of have this weird kind of, like, global view of whatever it is that they're paying attention to. And there are a lot of people who are like, I'm going to go on the internet and just watch stupid videos. But there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, I'm going to blog about shit, and, like, it's basically like digitizing yourself. That's something that we kind of do, and it's like it's not exactly normal. And this weekend I went to a mall in San Jose, and it was okay. So the Detoider Occam's electric toothbrush, Hugh, you know, on Twitter he's T-Ball Bat. He has his thing, the Darksiders 2 hashtag, which I fucking love, which is basically just where he says something like really shitty, like he says, like, you know, a grown man with a rat tail, and then hashtag Darksiders 2. And it's sort of like, one of these by itself doesn't make any sense, but when you sort of get the hang of, like, it's poetry. And this entire mall was hashtag Darksiders 2. There was a store called Latin Lingo that just sold, like, it just sold like really horribly stereotypical like T-shirts you'd see Mexican gangsters wearing, like if you picture like one of those plastic homie figurines, like
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's like it's like a store for those people to shop at, and the store is called Latin Lingo, and I'm like, this is literally a store for racial stereotypes. And I was walking around, I saw like a really like a big like a fat kid with like a rat tail, and he was wearing a shirt with a picture of Jason Voorhees on it, and it said "You're next," and he was wearing like bright red basketball shorts, and he just walked by, and I was just like. Like what is this is reality. Like this is a real place, and I was just kind of cracking jokes about it the whole time. I walked into Spencer's Gifts, which I haven't been in like years, and it's like if Hot Topic just joined a frat, because they're selling like Ninja Turtles hats and like Optimus Prime belt buckles and like stuff that used to be kind of dorky, but now it's just sort of normal. But then they're also selling beer bongs and like. They had a fitted trucker cap with Domo-kun's face on it. That guy who kills kittens when you masturbate or whatever.
Yeah.
What?
But it was green. It was like a green and it was with the St. Patrick's Day stuff. And I'm like, who is like, man, I want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Better go buy a green Domo-kun hat. Like, what the fuck is going on?
There's one of those stores out here in the mall in Mississippi, which I don't often. I say as if that there's one mall in Mississippi. I think it's like the South Park Mall or something, and there's one of those stores. I used to go in there because that's where I got my like 18-inch Alien Warrior, and they had all cool action figures and stuff in there. That's all gone now, just replaced with bongs. It's that society. Yeah. Cool action figures out the window. We gotta fit in all the bongs there.
Yeah, I walked in looking. Yeah. It was like walking into a store for date rape props. Like if you were gonna be like, yo, I want to have a really good date rape this weekend, and then it's like walking in and it's just like accessories, date rapist accessories.
Yeah, well that's actually
what kind of accessories, dude.
You got furry handcuffs and plastic tits that are all in there now, and fucking baby grows with things like I don't know, sassy bitch or whatever on them. Just these like slutty baby grows for little 4-year-olds and things. It's
grows?
Baby grows, like a romper suit thing, but baby.
Oh, they call it grows. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine on Twitter, and she's like a really cool lady. Like she used to be like like a hip young person who she has like rad tattoos. She has like tattoos of giraffes and shit. Like she's just cool.
I think you've talked about her before. Does she have all of her limbs?
No, differently. I know a lot of people with tattoos. It's
okay.
But her husband actually works. Her husband actually works for Sega, I think. So I know her through gaming stuff. But she just had a baby, and I was talking to her, and she was tweeting about how since she's become a mom, she went from being like a cool normal person to suddenly just like dorkishly fixated on this baby, and it's like she can't help it. She had a fucking baby and she loves her baby, but she's like, it's so uncool how much I love this fucking baby. Like she's like, I totally went full mommy. Like I didn't think I used to be like a normal regular person, but now I'm just like, oh, it's your baby, I love the baby. And I was like, well, you got to get the baby some rad clothes, be like. And if, in that way, when you're all like crazy about the baby, people are like, what's so great about the baby? You're like, well, it's got an AC/DC shirt on. There you go. And she was like, what if I got it like a little SS uniform? And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, it would be like, I have this tiny Nazi in my house that won't leave. And I was like, that's really cute, like dress your baby up like a Nazi. And then you're like, oh no, there's a Nazi in my house, but it's so cute. I can't make it go away. I don't know.
Babies.
Baby Nazis.
I want to get an SS uniform
for my
cat.
That's a risk. That's a risk you're running there in terms of your.
How is that this?
That'd be. Well, people might think you're a Nazi too. You see, people. Oh yes, they would be offended. They'd be fearful.
What are they doing in my apartment, looking at my great Nazi cat?
What are they going to
like? They're going, hey Max, I'm going to come over to your house, disrespect your beliefs. My cat doesn't go outside. It's not going to like go outside and scare people. No one's going to be like, oh shit, there goes that Nazi cat.
If it did,
Well, it'd be really
then-
easy to find the fucking cat. If the cat got out, I'd be like, "Hi, I'm looking for my cat. It's a Nazi. Have you seen it?" You know, like
I would love that poster though. Have you seen my Nazi?
lost cat wearing an SS uniform. Like,
I was at Nick Chester's house this weekend. He's got a
oh God,
daughter
tell us
who's
about your
two.
date. I was wondering,
Uh,
like, I think what games did you play? Did you play harmonics games or did you play Rhythm Heaven Fever? Because it's you and it's him. Like, what are you gonna do?
Speaking of people who are just full baby, he's just everything his baby likes. He just instantly likes. And we played Rhythm Heaven Fever per Nick's
Of course
request.
you did. Of course you. You couldn't have played
Nick's
Doom
request.
3. You should have gone over there and played Doom 3.
It was actually pretty funny. His 2-year-old daughter was pulling books off of the bookshelf for me to look at, and the first one was the Walking Dead comic, which is filled with faces just being bit off and stuff like that. And Nick's like, "Oh, sorry." Oh, he's being like all fatherly and goofy and stuff. And then like 5 minutes later, pulls another one off the bookshelf. It's the Kama Sutra. I'm like, "What, Nick? What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, again. Mr. Dad doing it. Yeah, don't let me get that from you, little miss." You know, he was quite cute about it. He really wanted to protect her from these books that he had.
What
just
an
on, like,
idiot.
I fucking love Nick.
Yeah,
I
no.
love him.
Parents
He's just
are stupid and they're idiots.
Well, he's very comfortable.
he seems like a really
knowing
cool
that-
dad. Like, I haven't
very
ever
cool.
seen him like he like tells stories about the kids, and he just seems sort of like a sarcastic dude who has a kid. And he's like, yeah, it's a cool kid. It's my kid. Just gotta
Well,
kind
he's got a teenage son as well, and he was
that's
out teenaging his teenage son, like just legitimately making fun of him better than any. Because teenagers are like masters of mocking each other and whatnot, and being aloof and difficult. And he was just destroying his teenager.
I was
teenager
actually-
mess left.
I was thinking about that. I feel really sorry for the next few generations of children, because they're going to be brought up by internet trolls, basically. People that have been on the internet trolling each other. Like me and Alex, we will troll the shit out of our kid. I won't put up for any of his bullshit. I once told him we're going to send him to the moon, and he legit cried because he thought I was being serious.
Yeah, it's going to be a different.
And I kept it up. Just constant. You're going to the moon on a rocket ship, and it's just. And if he like, I mean, obviously not if he hurts himself, but if he cries over something bullshit, like he can't have fucking French fries or something stupid, we will just turn around and go at him and then he gets really embarrassed. He's like, "Shut up!" And we're like,
Yeah,
like
Nick.
that. I mean, obviously not. If he fell over and like broke his arm, we wouldn't be gathered round him going, "Did someone break it?" We wouldn't do that, obviously, but we will troll him when he tries to pull bullshit. And I think this generation of parents are so used to bullshit because they bullshit online themselves all the time. So the kids aren't going to get away with the kind of shit that we got away with as kids, because the parents of this generation are too childish themselves.
Yeah, I think
Well,
there was a moment where like parenting was like I know like the kids a few years younger than me who were like, their parents were like, yeah, we try to be like more allowing, and this is I guess hippie parents, or at least just like parents who were like, let's try something new. And it's like, doing the thing where it's like, if you're gonna drink, I know you're 13, but if you're gonna drink, just come to our house and we'll supervise. It's like we'll keep it in like a safe environment, And it's sort of like giving your kids a lot of freedom and hoping it'll like sort of pan out. Like they'll sort of like, it's basically doing the honor system with teenagers, And I think that sort of backfired because I think that teenagers are inherently kind of shitty. And it's
I think I'm sure there's schools of thought that say children need authority and they need to have that kind of a rule system in place and something to sort of rebel against and something to... I wonder whether if you give a child free rein like that, if they don't just get drunk off the power and then jump up to bigger heights of debauchery.
Mm.
You'll turn up and they're fucking Caligula having sort of donkey shows while lying back with fucking squashing grapes on their belly and going, I'm making wine!
You've got to do those voices with Max before you can't anymore. This is your last chance for you guys to be those fops. You got to be
can do
fops
that.
tonight. Do those fops. Before you do, though, I'll just mention that I do have a friend who's raising his child, who I believe is now 5. He listens to the show, so hello. If you're listening, you know I'm talking about you. He's raising his child.
I hope that's
I think
not the 5-year-old listens to the show.
the 5-year-old. I
You
wouldn't
said he's
be
got
surprised.
a 5-year-old, and I know he listens to the show.
I would not be at all be surprised.
Is
if
that
his
pedophilia or not?
No, of course not. We don't
To make a
try
child
to have
listen to this oral pornography. That's what this is. It's audio pornography.
We do not try to make anyone horny. At least I don't on the show.
I do! I've been talking about fucking ploughing your sweet brown fields for like the past few weeks. That is supposed to be... That's Podtoid After Dark. That is the erotic moment of the show. People are supposed... It's like the Red Shoe Diaries in podcast form. People are supposed to listen and touch their most intimate territories while listening.
It's like Emmanuel in space.
It's like it's the artistry of Emmanuel with the raunchy humor of all of Russ Meyer's films. Like Emmanuel cross Vixen.
Whoa. That's something that needs to be done in real life. But anyway, I have a friend. He has a 5-year-old. They do not have any rules for the 5-year-old at all. I never have. And so far, so good from what I've been told.
What if that fucking kid comes in from school when he's 8 and he's like, I want to set up a dogfighting league?
I don't think he's
Are
going
they
to
going to
school.
let him set up... Not even going... Fuck it. That's a
He's gonna be
bad
homeschooled.
parent.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't claim to know.
I know why they're homeschooling him, so that the authorities don't hear about his dogfighting league.
Perhaps.
Fucking 3-legged terriers running around the place, and he's fucking splashing them with buckets of water, saying, "Get out of here! Fucking bite his face off!" That's what the 5-year-old sounds like. Fucking bite his fucking face off.
He might not have any need to feel
Rip
aggressive.
that
Like
Alsatian's throat out, you fucking dog cunt.
dog cunts.
I don't know. I think that that's a great plan. Like dealing with being like, oh yeah, like our kid is a free spirit. He rides horses naked. He could do that if he wants. That's okay. That's great until he meets other kids. Like
I
it's all
don't know
about
how he thought about the
kind
kids,
of
yeah.
relatability, like being able to just sort of deal with other people. I think, and it's
Well, I think
it seems like
yeah.
I was going to say it seems like what like Nick Chester's doing, where he just makes fun, like the trolling of your children. Like giving them some shit. It's like if they get bullied, like they're not going to like get bullied. If somebody makes fun of them at school, they're going to be pretty used to it. Which is really
The
fucking
teenager,
cool.
He was not. First of all, I never told the listeners who Nick Chester is. Nick Chester is the former editor of Destructoid.com. I think he was the editor-in-chief.
Fuckers should know that. You should know that.
I'm sure we have some first-time listeners on the show. Nick now works at Harmonix. He's working on a lot of games. He gave me a little inside scoop on them, and they sound really awesome. He'll be able to say more at PAX East, I think.
And they're making Doom 3.
They are. I can't speak to that, actually. I should not speak to that. And Nick has a teenage son as well, who he literally just came up to and went, I'm a teenager. I smell bad on purpose, and I don't talk to anybody, and I wear all black. And his son just like smiled at him and like, that's my dad. There was nothing he could really do about it. And like all of 5 minutes later was joking around with us and took it perfectly. So yeah, father of the year, Nick Chester.
No,
yeah,
I grew up I grew up kind of being like coddled. I went to a very like liberal public school where it was like, call your teachers by their first name, respect everybody's beliefs and stuff. And it's like it's that idea of like being tolerant of everybody and respecting everybody and being nice and stuff. And it's like, that's great, except no one else does that. Like,
yeah,
nobody's gonna fucking like. It's really cool to like try and try and impose put that mindset into kids. But in practice, it just doesn't. It's like communism. It's teaching your kids to be fucking communists. It's awesome until they want to try and buy something.
My thought is to teach kids to be aware that other people are going to feel stuff based on what they do, but to try to get them to be as honest as possible. Because
if you have a kid, if you raise a child, that child is going to be fucking Turbo Gandhi. Like.
That's nice of you to say. I hope to have a kid someday.
Most wonderful child. Like I'm when I get sad, I imagine you teaching a child to ride a bike, and it makes me feel better. Because that's
because you said that, a man named
McNiers like
actually
a fucking
drew that.
flower giving birth to puppies. Like, it's just
someone please make a picture of Jonathan Holmes, helping a child who's fallen off a bike and just saying, "Why do we fall down, sir?"
Well, hold on. I got this. Well, I don't know. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
I would love it. I would love it if Jonathan Holmes was Alfred.
You pretty much.
I relate to the black guy there the most in those movies. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What, Batman?
Alfred.
Yeah, Batman.
I would love it if Morgan Freeman was the next Batman.
That would be incredible.
Next film, Morgan Freeman and Christian Bale should just swap places and not even explain it.
They could get away with it at this point. The rabid fan base for those movies, deservedly so. Very well made movies. I'm sorry, you're going to say something back there, Max?
I was saying the back there. How do you know I'm back there?
I don't know. I thought you were back there.
Right here.
I don't know.
Right here, right next to you. I'm not back there. I'm right here. But yeah, I was just saying, growing up, it occurred to me, I was always teased by people who didn't like me. I was never teased by people who I knew liked me. So it was sort of like a very on-off kind of toggle switch thing. And if I'd grown up with, let's say my brother-in-law, who is a motherfucker, and I love him. He's he just constantly making fun of me. And it took me a second, but it's that's totally he grew up with 4 older brothers, so it's pay it forward kind of thing. And I wish that I grew up with a single mom who's a Buddhist, so it was sort of okay, we're watching Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. We have a cat. That's cool. And then I went to school and people were like, "Your hair is stupid," and I'm I just went and cried,
I had a similar experience. Yeah, I had a very nice to me all the time family, so I didn't know what it meant to make fun of someone but not really mean it to hurt them. It's just a way to relate and joke around. Yeah.
Speaking of someone who had a very different family life, fuck the pair of you, acting like you had it so bad when. The most pleasant childhood memory I have of my mother is the time she went to smack me in the head, I ducked, and she just kicked me up the arse as I bent over. And that's the best memory I have of my childhood because it was kind of funny.
Okay, that's not true. I didn't say... There was a time I got in a screaming match with my mom when I was a shitty teenager, and we were sitting there, I was on my computer in my room, and she was in her nightie holding a glass of water telling me to go to bed. And she's just standing there by the door. She's like, "Max, go to bed." I'm like, "I'm working on my live journal, Mom. Fuck you," or something. And we just wound up shouting back at forth at each other. And she's just... I was just swearing at her or something, doing something that a shitty teenager does. And she just threw the water on me. She just threw a glass of water in my face. And we both burst out laughing because it was totally wow, we are being stupid right now. This is silly. It was lovely,
Still heartwarming, yeah.
Yeah, but she was really pissed at me to throw the fucking water at me. That's such an insane thing to do.
Yeah, it's not a physical attack, but it's physical and it's an attack, but it's not a physical attack.
It's the kind of thing that clowns do at circuses. It's hard to take it. I try and maintain an air in my relationships now that to have an argument would just be... Because I feel very self-conscious at the best of times, and I feel no more self-conscious than when I'm trying to argue, because I become acutely aware of how high my voice is and how fat I am, and realise that they're basically just being shouted at by a Mr. Man. So I don't think that helps.
The guys with like Mr. Silly and Mr.
Yeah,
Happy with
Mr.
shoes.
Green,
and
basically
you
Mr.
avoid-
Green.
saying you avoid conflict because it would be too silly to picture.
Yeah. And I've only ever like properly lost it at someone about 2 or 3 times in my life. One was my brother. One was my mother's penis of the month at the time, and I can't even think of the other one. There was a time I squared up to a gang, which I've talked about on Podtoid before. I find it's best for me to not talk, and then I can kind of carry on this air of, because I'm tall and sort of wide, so I can carry myself off like an East End villain. So long as I don't talk, so long as I just scowl at them or do as I did in that altercation and count them up and then sort of shrug as if to say I can take you all on, which actually worked, then I'm okay. But so long as I don't have to talk, because then I'm just aware that I look like a cartoon, so I don't. And that's kind of, it saved this marriage. I think both my wife and I we're aware of just how silly the world is in general, so it's hard to get into an argument like that. You know, it's good. I think the most serious argument we ever had was how to effectively use the smoker in Left 4 Dead. And that was literally the most vicious argument we've ever had, and pretty soon that worked itself.
Huh. Yeah, I could see the passion coming out in terms of that, because you're both kind of experts, and you'd want your expertise to be respected by the
She ain't an expert. She was trying to use the smoker wrong.
She's pretty smart. I don't know. I follow her on the tweets there. She's got some good insights.
Fuck that sheep's ass. No, she's fucking way smarter than I am, and my accountant as well. So that's the reason why I am not dead.
Right.
Oh, I need an accountant, big time. I need to finally pay people. So I haven't been holding out because I don't want to pay them. I'm very excited to pay people who contributed to the Talking to Women About Video Games album, but just the math of like dividing by 10, and then it's 15% goes to Bandcamp, but only every 1/30th of the sales, but then they take the entire sale, and Jesus, do you think, how much would I have to pay your wife to just do that math for me for like, just this one time? Just like, what if I gave her like $20? Would she do my math, Jim?
Yeah. She likes doing that.
All right. That would be really helpful.
Give her, like,
it would be worth it.
Yeah. I realise at this point I'm now just being a fucking accountant pimp. Hey, you want some calculus done?
See, I have a similar
right
thing.
This way, sir.
Jen's the dental student, so I also say, you got some calculus, she'll scrape that off. That's great. It's a dental joke. Calculus is like plaque, I guess.
She got very serious with me, your girlfriend, about flossing. Like, I thought we were just joking around, and she was like, "You what?" That was like the entire tweet when I said I haven't flossed in a while. Because my dentist told me, don't floss, dude. Don't do it. You're just going to have bloody gums and look gross. Your teeth are so close together. You can't get any plaque in there, they told me. But she said they were wrong and that I need to floss hard immediately.
Menthol.
Yeah. I don't give a shit about
Will your girlfriend fix my tooth or not?
Yeah, sure.
I've got like a back. It might be a wisdom tooth or something. It's at the back, and I think there's a big hole inside it, in between the molars. And if I eat like anything stringy, a bit will go up there, and then I guess it will just press on the nerve until I find a way to pull it out.
Ouch!
Oh,
that sounds pretty bad.
It's hellish. I've had it for ages. I need to go see a dentist.
Dentists are it's such a weird thing because you can't really kill anybody. Like, it's really hard to die from like tooth problems. So it's sort of like low stakes, but it's also like it is the hardest bone in your body. So it's very complex and tiny.
Yeah,
and it's easy to ignore your teeth.
Oh, the teeth.
No, the teeth. Enamel on teeth is like it's harder than rocks or whatever. Yeah, so yeah, it's weird. It's just like people who are fixated on that shit. Like I live with 2 dental students. Like my roommate's an oral surgeon, and it's just like the psychology that they have, the approach they have on it. It's fucking completely alien, It's like if you. I
mean, you got to know more about teeth because, as you say, the psyche of the patients.
I know so much about teeth just by living with them, and they're always talking about shit. I don't care. I don't want to know about teeth.
The teeth on the aliens on H.R. Geiger's Aliens look really nice. You ever notice that?
They must
That's
floss.
a non sequitur. Yeah, they must. But I wanted you guys
Have
to
you
do the
noticed
fop
President
talk.
Obama's jaw looks like a xenomorph? I saw a
Just
picture
his
of him
jaw.
smiling, and he's got a really angular chin, and when he smiles, it like pulls up like a big sort of grimace, and his teeth are in there like perfect and white. And it looks like that the scenes in the Alien films when you get a close up of the alien's mouth and the lips just kind of pull back. They just kind of
Sneer.
just scale back, and it's like that. He's kind of got like the Alien Queen sort of fixed rictus grin, and it's terrifying when you see it because his skin will stretch as well, and then it gets that kind of weird sort of non-human texture of the. This isn't racist. I'm not saying this just because he's black. I'm saying it because it is pointy chin.
Yeah, he looks pretty normal. He looks pretty normal.
No.
I don't know.
People say he's a handsome young man.
Hey, look, no, he's a fine-looking man. I'm just saying when he smiles, just the jaw area is very xenomorphish.
Just from the end of the nose down, then.
I just saw a photo. Stop! I'm taking racist back.
You know what's the worst thing in life? The absolute worst thing in the world. Like, this is seriously one of the most tragic things. Is when you meet a girl, you meet a beautiful woman, or something. You know, like you see her, whatever, you're talking to her, and you're like, oh yeah, she's a pretty lady, and you see her, like a friend or whatever, and you're like, yeah, she's fucking cute. And then one day, you realize that when she smiles, she looks like Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. And that has happened with several girls I know. I mean, I'm not on the market or anything. I have Jen. It's cool. She doesn't look like a claymation character when she smiles, so we're golden. But it's like, it's such an instant fucking turn off when I'm like, oh yeah, you're a really cute girl, and I say something funny and she laughs, and it's just like crackers, Gromit, and I expect her to like hold her hands up and do the little hand wiggle that Wallace does.
So
It's even worse when just as you're about to climax with them, they just go, "Oh, I need some cheese, Gromit." Oh,
it's a great big sheet mixing thing, Gromit.
It's the wrong trousers. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, but that's a tragedy. Like I hope I don't have that. I hope I don't have that. That'd be terrible.
Oh no, you don't. Your mouth shape is just right. I've been looking. Looks good.
Yeah, my mouth is
shape, dog.
right shape. Jonathan Holmes.
Good mouth shape, dog. I like it. Creepy.
You can't ever say.
You guys gonna do that fop talk? Do the fop talk.
Oh, of course, I suppose we could do that.
Oh, that won't be forced and manufactured at all.
Just do it. You're doing it.
Unlike my chickens, which are free range and live on the moon. I'm Jonathan Holmes, and I'm so rich.
Bring me a hand with the finest of meat, so that I may pluck off different types of meat throughout the day and eat it. An antipasto sombrero.
I would like to eat the original clay Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, and I can do that because I'm so rich.
What can I?
Oh no, that's tough to top.
Let's do a thing. Hold on. Here, wait. I'm a waiter.
Okay.
Oh, hello there, sir. Welcome to Outback Steakhouse. I'll be your server today. My name is Brett. Can I get you? What can I get you today?
A live kangaroo.
All right, that's just great. And what can I get you to drink with that?
Tutankhamun's piss. Do you get it or not? Because I'm quite decadent.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, he'll be joining us for dinner in a moment.
Tutankhamun will?
Oh, fucking hell.
I think for lunch I'm feeling a bit peckish. I'll only have the Gutenberg Bible and a large glass of pearls.
I would like a Fabergé sun, please. It's like an egg, but the sun. Made of Fabergé.
The whole sun.
Made of real, authentic Fabergé. Oh, welcome to your last show, Max.
Yeah.
Feels good.
That's good, man.
There's a whole bunch of questions. I feel feel bad.
I always have to leave early. I gotta be out of here in 20 minutes, but
And how
Yeah,
many minutes?
Let's go. It's a question.
20 minutes.
20?
Let's do
do
it.
the questions.
Do it.
All right, Toby. Sir Toby asks, do you guys like Doctor Who, old or current? If so, who's your favorite Doctor? Max?
I'm
Doctor Who?
completely incapable. Like I want to like Doctor Who, but I
Mhm.
can't get into it. I
Huh.
tried for a second. I thought it was cool. I appreciate
Now,
the
which
universe.
Doctor Who was this?
This was the new one, which someone was like, a friend of mine was like, I think this is probably the easiest place for you to start, just because there's not a lot of baggage and it's not super hokey, but it's like modern hokey.
Sure.
What I like is no one had ever, the people who are into these things, who are like the people who are like really hardcore Doctor Who fans, they always just fucking suck at explaining why Doctor Who is good. Like,
Huh.
and this is not just Doctor Who. This is a thing it's kind of across the board. People who are into something usually they're not good at selling it, because they're like they've reached a certain point where it's like asking a specialist a question, a really basic question. Like you ask a scientist, like, why is the sky blue, and they give you a answer.
It's kind of like asking them to explain how to breathe. Like, it's become so natural to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they don't even understand why you wouldn't know.
I typically
think it's pretty.
No one had ever told me.
Yeah.
No one had told me that Doctor Who was originally supposed to be a children's show, or that it's like all like. I always just sort of assumed, huh?
It was like a kid-friendly sci-fi show, like a kid-friendly Star Trek.
I totally didn't realize that. Like, I didn't.
Yeah,
it's always been one corner of nerdy culture that I can't get into, and also it's a TV show, which I have a really hard time, like, dedicating myself to. It's just TV is hard.
You have to follow a lot of episodes. Well, my opinion, Doctor Who, people love it because people want to be smart and witty, and they also want to be weird and interesting, and it brings those two things together, and it's about relationships with other people that become quite meaningful after a while. So that's what people want. That's why they like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's why they like all sorts of crap, and Doctor Who is included on that. That's easy enough to understand, right? Everyone wants to be like a funny, witty, weird guy, right? Like an Anthony Birch type guy, just running around. Like a Jim Sterling guy. Doctor Who is just like Jim Sterling, except a little bit less irritated about things.
Less mentions of paedophilia in...
Jim, you make a wonderful Doctor Who.
You would.
I would.
You get my vote.
Doctor Who.
And you too, Max. Your persona on the Destructoid show, which is just like you, except turned up a notch a little bit, is much like Doctor Who. I'm guessing that's why Toby asked you guys, because you're both Doctor Who-ish to me.
I have liked every episode of Doctor Who I've ever seen. I just have seen 3. I would like to get into it, but I just never got round to it. I used to watch some of the old ones on UK Gold back in Britain, and I caught a couple of the episodes. I know there's an episode where they use ELO to kill aliens. The frequency of an ELO song fucking kills them all. Plus their new version of The Master, who I forgot who did it, but it was an actor whose name I forgot, and he was really good from what I've seen. But I recently finally got around to getting Netflix set up here, and I noticed they've got Doctor Who, so I might watch it on there. Cause
You just now got Netflix?
Well, we tried it at the old apartment we were at, but I don't know what was wrong. We couldn't get it to work. Like, we'd get it set up, but it wouldn't stream properly. So the movies would just be like fucking zoetropes. So we gave up. And then we finally got round to, after we'd moved, we kind of just put it from our mind and thought, internet in Mississippi is too shit to bother. But then obviously with all the other sort of streaming, there's no other streaming alternative really. So we thought, well, fuck it, let's try Netflix again, see if it works, and it worked. So we're going to keep it now. And that's good, because I watched one episode of He-Man on it.
You watched the She-Ra Christmas special, the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special?
Oh, that always comes up.
I think that's on there, yeah.
It is on
like the Two Swords or something. Yeah.
I just installed Netflix on Jen's 3DS.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, the 3DS feels too much like my DSi. It just like feels like I'm not a fan. I've had time with it to sort of give it a chance.
But you like your DSi though, right?
I like my DSi, but it's sort of like it feels like one of those baby laptops, like when they're like, oh, it's like it's a leapfrog.
Yeah,
it feels too much like a leapfrog.
My first computer.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, this is Nintendo makes wonderful toys. Why are they trying to do other things? But putting Netflix on it, genuinely really cool. I was really impressed with
It
that
actually
because we were.
works.
Yeah, it was surprisingly. We were hiding under the covers watching Hey Arnold on this tiny screen. It was really cute.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
watched Ponyo a lot on that to go to sleep, like on my pillow. I think it's pretty neat.
Oh!
Yeah, you know me. It's not the best.
Man, you wonderful man.
I can't help it. I'm just like this.
They got Street Sharks.
I should watch that too.
They got fucking Street Sharks. They haven't got Skeleton Warriors. By the way, I think it was Meat Hook Jones sent me in the mail Skeleton Warriors, the complete series on DVD, which is just brilliant. And he also sent me something else. This wasn't on a wish list. He just saw it and thought, I thought you'd like this. It's a book called Fun with Pedophiles.
Oh no!
So I got that in the mail. And
wow.
Luckily, it's not on the paedophile side. It's a collection of like chat transcripts that this comedian has had with paedophiles trolling them, basically.
God, that sounds awesome.
So I'm looking forward. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but just the back cover alone sort of piqued my interest. I'm looking forward to getting into that. When I first saw it, I kind of went like even paler than I normally am. I'm just like, I can't be getting this in the mail. Not Fun with Paedophiles.
Jonathan, did you get my package that I sent you?
I wanted to mention that. I just got that on Saturday. I was overjoyed with what I found. I want to just lock you up and give you food and things you like, but just make you draw all the time because you're such a great artist. I love you drawing so much, and it's a shame that I know you're too busy to really dedicate a lot of time to that.
I just got my mom came and dropped off a bunch of stuff that I had in storage that consists of pretty much all my old drawings from grade school up and like all my old sketchbooks, and I've been looking through them, which kind of just makes me think like I'm not really like I haven't really grown up. I've just kind of distilled as a person. Because it's the same shit that I draw now. It's just like slightly different. Just
sure. Well, it's good to have a core. Yeah. I mean, that's a sign that you have a. You know, some people might not have souls. The way my mother puts it is, if you peel them away like an onion, in the middle of an onion, there's nothing. But if you peel an apple, eventually you get to the core.
There is a lot. And I've done this. If you peel anything to the core, you know, it might be a baby. I'm not confirming. There's shit underneath.
That's true too.
I'm not saying I've seen it, and I'm not saying I've paid an organization in Europe to go to a building and do it. Just saying.
What I was trying to say was that Max Scoville has a core that has been consistent in his character since he was young, and that's a wonderful thing. When people look back and they feel like, you know, they're not even remotely the same person anymore after 10 years, it's often because they don't really have kind of a central being to themselves.
I found like journals from like 5th grade where I'm just like, Tango and Cash is my favorite movie ever. I hope I get to meet Sylvester Stallone someday. To be fair,
and you still kind of feel
that way,
that
right? Fucking movie. Well, but it's weird because I just suddenly like Kurt Russell better. Go figure.
Yeah, they're both great. Yeah. Did you hear Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone are teaming up for a new movie called The Tomb?
Oh, God.
It's going to be The Expendables again. They don't.
Are you sure by The Tomb? Like it's not just literally their funerals.
I'm not sure.
They're just filming it, put it on the internet live stream. $2.
And Jim Caviezel, the Jesus guy, is going to be in it too.
What?
That all adds up. It could be their funeral with Jesus there. What? No one gives a shit about Jim Caviezel.
If it was Jim Caviezel playing like crazy battle damaged bloody Jesus from The Passion of the Christ, and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone playing themselves, you have yourself the greatest movie ever made in America.
That is a brilliant idea.
Actually, if Arnold Schwarzenegger goes back to the time of The Passion as a Terminator to stop it.
Oh, Jim, I got bad news. Bad news.
Well,
that's a Mad TV sketch.
Is it?
I saw it.
Sketch. Like
you think
1995.
like a Mad TV. Yeah, I saw that. It was one of the best. Mad TV.
I share something in common with Matt.
To be fair, that's
Will
back when it was...
I'm with you, Max.
To be fair, back then. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Will Sasso was all right. Sometimes he did a good Randy Newman impersonation. I don't know if
Yeah,
you saw that.
there was some pretty funny shit. Yeah. People hate on Mad TV, but I don't know. It's pretty good. It had its moments.
I would say
They just
15% of the time it was all right.
I would say that they had really good ideas and they just didn't know how to do a punchline. Like the sketches would drag on for way too long.
Yeah, a lot of just like awkward moments without any comedy involved. Just a kind of a sad embarrassment to watch.
Yeah. But they always
then-
Yeah, that sounds exactly like Podtoid.
Oh, come on. Not true. We keep it rolling on this show. We're great at this show.
I was just
So
like
good.
literally physically rolling on the floor. I just got
We're gonna
up.
get some more questions because we only have 10 minutes left. I think.
All right.
Max Scoville. Quantum Cat PhD asks, "Is it called pop or soda?" Jim.
Neither. It's
Okay.
it is fizzy.
Fizzy. Okay, fizzy. Max, your thoughts?
soda.
Soda. I'm with you on soda. I've never called it pop. Jack Darby asks, "You suddenly receive a boat filled with money. Do you want to make Beyond Good and Evil? I assume 2, Psychonauts 2, Metal Arms 2, or something else." I would want something else. I would want to pay the Satoru playing Toei. I'm saying it wrong, I bet. To make Mother 4. I'd want a new Mother game. Whether he wants to make it or not, he'd find the inspiration.
I got something for you. I thought of this joke the other day. There should be Earthbound and Down. Be like Eastbound and Down, but with
That would be perfect because they're both kind of embracing the yuck of our world, but trying to make light of it and have some fun. There's some real yuck in Earthbound. Your neighbors, in particular, are yuck. Anyway, is there some game, if you had endless money, or is there some sequel you would want to force to be made?
Yeah,
Max?
I've got a. Oh, sorry.
Jim. No, you, Jim.
No, I
Don't
just assume everyone's talking to me all the time.
Well, they usually.
No, please, Max, go first.
So my dream thing would be basically all the forgotten fighting game franchises of the 90s combined into one fighter. It's like Marvel vs. Capcom, but it's like Eternal Champions plus Primal Rage plus
Killers?
Oh fuck.
You remember Time Killers?
Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct.
Was Time
Just talk about
Killer
that.
Instinct, yes. World Heroes 2. Just like all of these fucking B-list retard villains or fighting game characters, just all of them.
Wow.
And I'd want it to play like the new Mortal Kombat.
That would be brilliant. That would be
shameless
so much
and
fun.
Funnily enough, mine is similar. I was going to suggest a crossover between two 90s beat-em-ups, but then I remembered my ultimate dream, which is a third-person action video game in the vein of something like God of War, set in the Rise of the Robots universe.
What?
That
No one
is
likes
my
Rise of the
dream.
Robots.
I know. It would be my job as head of big game studios to make a credible action game set in the Rise of the Robots universe.
Is that even a universe? Isn't it just a series of robots?
It is a universe. You've got to
It's
go
Brian
with this,
May,
otherwise
right?
it doesn't quite work.
Brian May would do the soundtrack? Would he return?
Well, no, it would be the same thing like what they did. We would say Brian May does the soundtrack, but then he does one song that plays 30 seconds in the intro.
It worked for them the first time, so yeah, that makes sense. Well,
I would
brilliant.
also like to see. I'd also like to see 50 Cent, Blood on the Stars.
Whoa, him going into space?
Fuck it, yeah, seriously. Gangsters in space, literally. I know that THQ, I know that Volition wants to work on that fucking game. Like, I know that you see Saints Row, and it's like 50 Cent wasn't feeling like making a new game, and they were like, gangsters in space.
Beastman, why are you talking about video games starring 50 Cent, you furry fool?
Why did that happen? Have you played Time Killers, though?
You sounded like Beastman lamenting.
Oh, when he went... Yeah, that's true.
How come? Because I watched Master of the Universe the other day. How come they're always calling Beastman Furface when his face is the only bit of him bereft of fur?
It's one of
How
those
come they never
styles.
shoot Robocop's face?
I don't think He-Man was, like, witty enough to be postmodern.
It might have been. You never know. And I don't know why they don't shoot RoboCop in the face, but I'm glad they didn't. But in RoboCop versus Terminator, he's got robot face, just like a Terminator. Max, have you ever played Time Killers, though?
No.
Look it up. It's a game made for you. It's like should be called For Max Scoville, the game. Yeah, it's perfect for you.
Maybe
it's like your doodles. It's worse. They're not as good of artists as you, so that might annoy you a little bit. But they just decided to be gratuitous in ways that are magic. So yeah, check it out. So I'll do another question. Someone wants to know what the best Vita launch game is, but I'm not sure at all because I haven't played enough of them. You have though, Jim, and have you played them too?
I've got
Max?
so many.
I played some of them. I haven't played enough to really get a feel of it.
Well, what's your favorite?
I bought Uncharted, and Katamari just because I was like these seem like pretty safe bets here.
Which one do you like more?
I haven't played either because I don't have my Vita yet because it's not tomorrow.
But tomorrow you get your Vita, so maybe you can tweet out loud about that to Cloudy Music. Aaron, Cloudy Music has that. Yes, and Jim.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Vita
I
launch
really
game?
don't know what to say is the best. I mean, I would always recommend getting Uncharted, even if you don't like Uncharted, just because you've got a Vita and it's something that will justify your purchase. Like, you'll play it and think, wow, the Vita's awesome. Because so many of the other games, they show off what the Vita can do from a technological standpoint, but they're not good games, so they make the Vita look a bit shit. I would say the safest bet, and I won't say the objectively best one, but the safest bet is Luminous. What's it called? Luminous?
Okay.
Galaxies or something?
That's totally that's the thing that I hate. I totally hate that. I was looking at that and I was like, I can't pay $40 for a game about blocks. I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I will pay $20 for a game about blocks, but I can't do $40 for a game about blocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you could spend $40 for another Ubisoft game, which is the fucking
don't start.
99. I'm gonna start.
Okay, well I should go then. I should probably go.
No, we gotta do a couple more questions before we go.
No, then you
Okay,
end it by
one
taking
more
a ball and going home.
They're all for Jim. Let me find a good one. In Jim's opinion, what do you want, Jim? And hey, Jim, we gotta find a good Max question.
Alright, stop being bitter.
It's for Max's sake. It's his last show.
No, it is.
I didn't announce that it was last show.
Maybe Max would like his last show to be spent talking about me for a minute.
Can you ask Jim if he? There's so many that are just for you.
Well, just ask them for Max. Just replace Max with Jim with Max.
Good idea. How does Max still get games from video game companies he insults? And how can I get called Ubisoft bunch of cunts? I think he means how can I get in on calling Ubisoft a bunch of cunts. But yes, Max, how do you get away with being so mean to game developers and still getting their stuff?
I'm really good looking.
The
thing is, it's great because it's wonderful because the people who make the games are the developers. The people who give the games to me are the very cute PR girls. So I make these little videos of myself, and I'm like attached is my request for a review copy. They open it up, and it's just a video of me like smiling and winking at them.
Whoa!
Like
really do that?
No,
I really.
I mean, I do videos 3 times a week on the show, but whatever.
So you can be friends with publishers and PR, and the developers might hate your guts, and it doesn't really matter. Is that more or less a recap of what you said?
That's pretty much how it goes. Yeah, I mean the people who actually make the games don't have anything to do with like distributing the games. So
yeah, I find that to be true as well, and I assume that's true for you as well, Jim.
Yeah, a lot of them don't care, and the ones that do, like most of them. I mean, what if you tell me you're blacklisting me? That's going on Destructoid's front page. It's going on there, and then everyone will call you baby publisher, can't take a fucking criticism. Not only
baby
that,
publisher.
But baby publisher. But Sega put it best. They just said, well, what happens if we blacklist you? You'll just go to the store, buy it, and rip the shit out of it then. So we might as well send it. And I thought that was just a beautiful sort of description of the publisher-reviewer dynamic. A lot of them just like they might call into question what you've said. I've had people want to talk to me on the phone about things, but they've never gotten too arsey. Most of them just want to know they just want a further explanation as to why you said what you said, and are like, oh, can we help here? Can we help there? Their job isn't to blacklist people really and get pissed off. It's more to, I guess, just try and put out the fires when they turn up.
Right. The only blacklisting I've known of is when someone breaks do not.
Yeah.
What are the NDAs? Is that what they call them?
Embargo is...
Embargo. NDA.
That's the casual one. The NDA is the signed thing. We only did that once. We actually had one... I won't name the company, but we had one publisher that was going to blacklist us because we accidentally broke an embargo. And I won't say who it was because I don't want to risk not getting further copies of BioShock. But I was luckily able to smooth it over. I'm quite... Because I think people think that I'm just a very rude person because of how spirited I write and everything. Whereas sure. I consider myself a very laid back and polite person in general sort of life. So I feel like I'm actually, because despite what people might think about me being some sort of PR loose cannon or what have you, I'm actually very good with PR. And I am very good at talking to people and very good at even just sort of smoothing over any annoyances that a publisher might have with a review we've done or anything they think we've done wrong. There are some publishers and developers that used to hate my fucking guts, and then we got talking and I'm really friendly with them now and we sort of chat and stuff, so... I think that's it.
It's a weird industry.
Yeah, it's a mixture of power on my sort of publishing power on my part, apathy on the part of PR, and just general people being nice to each other. You can't go. It's a holy trinity.
It is a perfect combination.
When people on the internet go, like they say the mean things and they freak out and they're like crazy. That's not how we do it. That's not at all how it goes.
Most publishers,
pretty civil.
Most publishers and developers have always said, I don't care if you rip my game to shreds. If you can argue your point, then that's fine. Insomniac were as good as gold over the Ratchet & Clank All for One review I did. They weren't happy with it, obviously. They didn't condone it, but they were like, what can we say? You argued your point. Move on.
Sure. Yeah, that made them look really good, in my opinion, when they did that. I wish more developers would take that high road. Do you have time for more questions, Max?
I gotta get going. I gotta take off.
I'm
sorry.
Well, Max,
wow,
it's
been
fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm around. I'm not we're still gonna we still got
Max. We all saw the report. It's terminal.
I gotta go. I have butt diseases.
Seriously, thank you.
I'm still doing the Podtoid show. The reason that I can't do Podtoid anymore is because basically we're doing more stuff for the Podtoid show over at Revision 3. So watch those videos. We do videos and stuff. They're like audio, but you can look at it.
The big irony is Podtoid was brought back for you and Tara to host to further promote the Podtoid show, and now you're both gone because of the Podtoid show. It's quite funny and annoying.
Oh, Jim! You know what you should do? Oh my God! A car just went by with giant cow horns on top of it. It looks really stupid. Sorry, I have a great view from my apartment.
That's all right.
I can't see cars with horns.
Go to your apartment.
You should. Are you guys coming out for GDC?
I don't think so. When is that again? It's like super soon, right?
It's like next week or something. It's like the beginning of March.
I'm not. I have not been able to keep track. I haven't even registered. I just found out. I thought Hamza was registering us for PAX East, but we're actually doing that for ourselves. So I better do that pretty quickly. Yeah. Did you know that?
We're gonna hang out at PAX East. We're gonna do something there. I would be more than happy to record an episode of Podtoid with you, Holmes, if the opportunity. Jimmer, you're not going to
let's do one at PAX East.
I won't be, no. I think E3 is going
to... Okay, well, let's plan this later. I'm still doing my other podcast, the Comedy Button, which is a bunch of other video game folk, and my buddy lives down the street, and we do that after work, so that's why I'm still doing that, but it's just hard to, fit this in, because you guys are in 2 different time zones, and we have to do it over Skype, which is the worst program ever made by people, ever. Fuckers. This is.
You'll be back on again.
It's stupid to be saying goodbye because we're just a bunch of brains floating on the internet. We're still there. I'm still there. I'm going to talk to you guys on Twitter in 10 minutes. Like, fuck it. But on that
But it's
note,
saying goodbye to the listeners who will miss you. So, and it was almost a year you did this, right?
Yeah.
It's a good, goddamn good run.
Yeah.
You done did it.
So
great job.
I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Max. Take care.
I love you. I love you.
I love you, tired.
He did some really good drawings.
By the way, guys,
his drawings are...
This is the future of Podtoid now. Me and Jonathan Holmes just going.
I wonder what you'll decide to do, Jim. Because there is space. I mean, with Tarragon, there was space that we were like, we're just going to plow ahead. But now there's really space if you wanted to fill it in with some random person or do things. There's so many things you can do now.
It's interesting because we've got some people that say that, you know, they really liked the sort of two-hander episodes we've done together. And then there are others that are like, oh, we need some more voices. I'm going to get some people. I'm going to get some guests. Hamza is going to be on and maybe for a couple of episodes straight. So we'll see what happens there. That should be fun. We'll have people coming on. You know, it'll be good. And then, you know, there's always going to be the core of myself and Jonathan, hopefully, to carry on. Unless, you know, the tension between us finally boils over into hot romantic passion and then they try and carry the series on after and there's not really much point. Like that thing Bruce Willis was in. I think it was an episode of Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, I think it was.
That was a good episode, the Bruce Willis. No, it's Moonlighting. With Maddie Sullivan or something her name is.
Is it?
Some walk by night. You know it. Come on.
Yeah. I do the Moonlighting joke every week. I do gather.
I know, and I play along with it every week. I act like, you know, come on, you know that show.
That's what people listen to Podtoid for, the great recurring guffs and goofs and gags and giggles.
People just love consistency. I've noticed. You can do the same crap every week, but as long as you do it every week for a year, people will love that crap you did.
And they're going to love the fact that your anus will have the consistency of dog food by the time I'm finished with it. Me and my dog-pounding cock.
Dog food pounding cock. Do you want more questions, Jim? I can do more questions for you.
Go on, we ain't got anything else to do. Actually, I'm playing Asura's Wrath at the moment.
Oh, for a review?
Mm-hmm. I just realised I said the word playing. Silly me. I've been watching Asura's Wrath.
Oh no! Really? Why did they do that?
It's a weird.
Combat, I thought was pretty.
They've got a combat system that you see like for a few seconds every now and then you watch a cutscene, and then it's such a weirdly structured game. I guess it's more like it's less of a game and more a collection of incoherent concepts. It's a weird fucking thing.
You know how I took it? I took it to be a symbol. Perhaps the greatest symbol thus far of Japan's ever-growing, or Japanese developers, I should say, ever-growing sense of inadequacy and fear that they're out of touch. So they're like, we need to give those Americans over the top and cinematic. So what does that even mean? Because that's, you know, when people talk about Call of Duty or Uncharted, they use the buzzwords that it's really over the top and, you know, huge set pieces and cinematic. So they just did that. They just took those two words and tried to do it as hard as they could, without any understanding of what they were even doing. And it's a spectacle, and like we were saying, the combat system I thought it was actually really well thought out, but it's too hard to even really focus on a lot of the time.
I spent the whole time thinking, if this was a cohesive video game, this would be brilliant. This would be one of the best things I've ever played. And instead,
it's like a mistranslation.
Yeah. And it's not even so much that it kind of splits between sort of a bit of combat and the QTEs. It's the fact that they're so separated. It's like you'll get a bit of combat, then you stop and watch a cutscene, or you stop and watch a transition screen, and then it goes to some QTEs, and then it goes to some more and it's just so segmented, there's no sense of flow. If they could get rid of the shit in between and make the combat and the QTEs flow elegantly together. Because they kind of do that sometimes. Like, if you knock a character to the ground, go near it, press Y, and then you do, like, a really cool move. And there's these moments where they kind of, the QTEs merge with the gameplay, and it's gorgeous, but it does it for, like, a minute tops. And then it goes back into this stuttering, stunted, segmented, now you're going to sit and watch a cutscene. And even the game chapters are all split. Like, it tries to be episodic. Like, you will play, like, 24 minutes of gameplay, and then it will stop. And then you'll see a results screen, and then it will just end. And then you can say, you will play the next chapter, and then you'll get a recap of what you just played. And it's just so... There's no sense of fluidity to it, which is what a game like that needs more than anything.
Yeah, that makes sense. It does sound like a misfire on trying to be cinematic and over the top.
And it's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous and so, like, funny. Like, it's a really funny, like, it just plays like the most over-the-top spoof of an anime you could think of. And when it hits, it really hits. Like, it's got some utterly gorgeous music and great visuals, wonderful sort of action sequences that are exciting, but every time you just get to fever pitch, you just get really excited, cutscene. Or you get really excited and we're just going to stop and show a blank screen and then come back to something else. And then you're never allowed to follow through on the build. It's all build and no crescendo.
Yeah, that's terrible. What a shame. I'm looking forward to that DLC, though, where you... just looks like Street Fighter 4. It just turns into Street Fighter 4. That looks great. You see that? You posted about that, I think.
I did, yes. It looks It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad they're taking some risks in that direction, but it'll be a shame if it's one of those games where the DLC is more fun than the actual game. That's how I found Resident Evil 5 to be, for the most part. The DLC was actually pretty darn good. Took more risks with that, I guess. Didn't try to kiss up as much to the audience. Do you want more questions? Or you got to go play that game, you're saying?
I can give you, we can do a little bit more. I mean, we've got an hour and a half, and people all complain that that's too short because they're foolish.
Well, let's follow up. HB, I can never pronounce this. It's Recreator. Yeah, we'll just call him that. Alex, he wanted to know if your opinion on the online passes situation has been altered at all after your talk with David Jaffe on that special episode of Podtoid, which everyone should listen to if you have not listened to it. You posted it, 4 days ago? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's still ripe and ready.
Yeah, we had a special bonus Podtoid special, which went live at the end of last week. If you've not listened to it, it's called David Jaffe and Used Games, where I spoke with Twisted Metal co-director David Jaffe about that issue. Obviously, used games is very important. It's an issue important to the pair of us, and it was very cool to speak to him, and because I've gotten on with Jaffe for quite a long time now, so it was cool to sit down and just bullshit with him for an hour and whatever it was, just talking about the issue. I wouldn't say it's really changed my mind. I think both of us left still with our own opinions. I think it's at least made me think I've got to focus on GameStop a bit more, because that's the issue people keep bringing up. A lot of David's sort of points of view were hinged on this idea that I was making GameStop look like a poor innocent victim, which isn't what I think. I do think, GameStop is... it's an unpleasant company run by unpleasant executives, like most corporations are. So, I'm not making them out to be the plucky underdog. I just think that the ultimate fault for this lies with the publisher, because they didn't want to compromise, and they didn't want to compromise with a company that doesn't want to compromise. And I think, just looking at the way things were, I mean, if GameStop's not making enough on new games, that's... the ball then is in the publisher's court to solve that problem. The problem that's driving them to push used so much. And they don't want to do it. They'd rather sit back and just say GameStop is evil, they're hurting us. And it's just, you get in a situation with two different businesses saying, poor me, cry for me, when it's ultimately the paying customers that are going to get dicked over. And
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, and that's still where my thoughts always lie, because... I've become almost zealously pro-consumer over the past year now, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be where my concerns lie, is with the consumer. And I think they're the guys getting fucks out of this, and publisher and GameStop alike need to sort it. It's a used game. It's the used games are an issue that everyone has a right to try and tackle, but punishing others at the bottom who are just trying to afford what is a luxury at the end of the day, is the wrong way to go about it. People try and justify used games. Try and justify the fight against used games by saying, well, it's a luxury. Poor people don't have to buy it. And it's true, but that actually backs up my point of view, because games are a luxury. Poor people don't have to buy it. And when poor people have to choose between food and video games, they're going to go with food. So don't do what you can to make games less affordable for them because it's a luxury, and they're going to tighten their fucking belt strings over your shit, not their food.
Yeah, it's not about just food and shelter. It's as a culture, we need art, right, Jim? And art should be affordable. This high art crap. $1 million paintings and $60 video games. It should be made for the people to absorb and for us to have a culture based on good things like video games, because I like them.
Yeah, I mean, developers totally have a right to try and make as much money as they can from the art they create, but at the same time, it just makes better business sense to not put the burden on the shoulders of the consumer and
absolutely,
burden yourself if you want to solve this problem. Come up with better ideas. You're already doing things like pre-order bonuses. You're already doing things like day one DLC. You're already doing collector's editions. If that shit isn't good enough, find something else. Don't just lazily rely on online passes. And I refuse to believe, if pre-order bonuses aren't working, if collector's editions aren't working, why are you still using them? Clearly they work already, and that leaves me to think the online pass thing is just a way to squeeze a bit of extra cash for yourself.
Yeah, it's just it's an attack. It's almost emotional, I think, on their part. They are angry that they might be losing sales, and they're indignant, so they're attacking.
Well, a company will do what it can to win without ever changing its own business model. Companies hate changing their own business models.
Well, it's scary. Yeah, fear and anger behind a lot of that stuff, I think. Let me move on to one from a guy, unless you wanted to say more, Jim.
No. I talk about that situation enough already.
Yeah, I love the passion it brings out. It's good stuff. Wolfie Bowie wants to know if we are importing The Last Story. I don't have a good importer for Europe, but I do know a couple of people who live in Europe, and I think you do too, Jim, and I am going to ask them if they'll buy it for me, and I'll give them the money, because I want to get started on that game.
I might have to do that. I haven't broken my... I ended up with 2 Wiis for some reason now. I really need to, go into one of them and fix it so it can play import stuff. I've always wanted to. I've just never got around to it because
I've helped you almost with that.
You've got I've still got your guide somewhere. I need to actually go and bloody use it.
Yeah. I'd be happy to help you with that. You should definitely. One of us should review that game soon. I think we're like the 2 people on staff that are really pretty excited about it. So that'll be good. Yeah. So I'll definitely get it. I just don't know how long it'll take me. I'm not going to get it on launch day. That's for sure. I just need to find a European to buy it for me, and I'll pay them back. Blaster wants to know what the single worst experience while working in the game industry was for us. And for you, it's probably that blister story on your toe, right? Is that the worst?
Possibly. That
was bad.
Yeah, I've talked about that enough times. I don't really want to bring it up again, but...
Sorry.
That was... Oh, no, I'm just saying I'm sure everyone's heard it, and if not, they can just fucking ask me later. But it's on the live, Destructoid Live, the first one we did.
Oh, yeah, that's on video somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's in a Destructoid post, just look it up. That was pretty bad. That was... Yeah, I guess coming home from the Tokyo... In fact, the whole Tokyo Game Show. It was amazing to go to Japan, and that's a memory I can keep with me for as long as I'm alive, and say I've been to Tokyo and saw amazing Japanese stuff. But it's nothing I ever want to do again. I never want to go back to Tokyo. It was a horrible experience, and I'm not going to blame Tokyo outright, but it's a city that doesn't, it's not my kind of city, and there are too many stairs. Let's just say that outright.
There was a lot of stairs.
It's
I
not
was
like
in Tokyo
fucking
as well.
yeah.
It's small and fast and sad and serious a lot of the time. But then the TV was great. I could watch just the commercials on
Oh yeah,
Tokyo
there was some
television all
amazing
night. Yeah.
Japanese TV. But
You see the one where the dad is like the Doberman Pinscher and the mom is a bear and the son is like an old man? It's a great one.
I don't think I have, no.
They're all just like eating Fruit Loops and just hanging out. It makes no sense.
Oh.
Yeah. My worst industry experience was it's not they've all been good in a way. I've enjoyed all of them unfortunately. So this is kind of hard, but probably the most disappointing experience I had was when I was set up to interview T-Pain
Oh god.
about his new software, and I thought it was so stupid that I was doing it. And long story short, I ended up getting kicked out of the interview before I even had a chance to talk to him, and the whole thing was like a fake press conference that was set up for something else he was doing. We have the video lying around, but I've never put it together. But I've held a grudge against T-Pain ever since then. He was somewhat rude, and his PR people apologized profusely afterwards. So, no hard feelings towards them. But yeah, E3 time. That was at E3. Your E3 time is very precious. It's all stuff that's about to disappear forever, and to waste an hour having T-Pain kind of give you the brush off was disappointing.
Absolutely.
That's my story.
Man sounds like a complete shit.
Yeah. We turned it into a video that was kind of funny. I don't know why we never posted it. Maybe we will. I walked up to like little Asian ladies and said, "Are you T-Pain?" And they're like, "Oh no."
I remember that, yeah.
Did you? I can't remember.
I remember that.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Yeah. And now we are old and grey.
I am old. I'm growing a beard because I am going to play a dad in a music video this Saturday, and they said I didn't look old enough. So I'm growing a beard, and it's got gray hairs in it.
Oh.
That's my story. That's my other story about beards now. You ever grown a beard, Jim?
I can't. I just end up that horrible Michael Moore neck giddy type thing.
We talked about this. I remember that now.
And I don't like facial hair on me.
Me neither. I grew it into kind of, do you know My So-Called Life? It's a television show.
No.
No. There's a character who is the like token gay teen. And later in life, he wanted to look more masculine because he has quite a soft, beautiful, effeminate voice. And he grew a beard just like my beard. So I just look like a effeminate teen who's trying to look grown up and manly. It's pretty sad. It's fun, though. It's fun every once in a while to grow a beard, but I'll shave it as soon as this dumb music video is over.
Good. I don't want to get fucking razor burn.
No. Ugh.
When we're doing deep kissing, I don't want to end up with a sore face. Because that's what we're going to be doing, deep kissing with tongues out.
Wow, that'd be so weird to kiss your face like that, you know? Can you picture? I can't even picture that. Wow, the mouth.
I can. I'm imagining it like us in a lush, verdant forest with like rabbits sort of skipping around us in a circle. And then two bluebirds come and fly in and sort of take off my dress, and my gorgeous white dress, and you kind of throw your hair back, like you've got long blonde hair in this, and you throw it back and go, ha 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 ha, come ride with me on my dapple down horse. And then we both get on your dapple down horse, and we ride through the forest in the stream, like it's a shallow stream, and it's just splashing the water. And I'm like, I've got a flower, and I'm just picking petals off and throwing it over my shoulder, going, ha ha ha, like that. And then you turn around and go, come, kiss me on the lips, deep kissing with tongues out. And then we go,
both of our voices very low. All of a sudden.
Like, almost crying, just
Oh, what a wonderful story. If I've heard that Thomas Trong is going to animate more Podtoids, and that's my suggestion for this week. And some young gentleman whose name suddenly escapes me because my mind is foggy is doing some sort of animation, Destructoid animation with like tentacle. It's like a tentacle sex with me in it or something. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That could be good. Yeah, could be good. I'm out of energy, Jim. I want to keep chatting, but I feel like
I'm
I'm
pretty
sort of a
tired.
failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all the shouting and Asura's wrath that's kind of out.
It's just a terrible cold. My new job is weird. And, life. It's good though. Life is good. It's just a lot of exploration on the proverbial moon of life, alone in a suit, hoping to survive. I've got a lot of that going on right now. I'll be all right though, right? So we've gotten this far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
You can do it. You got it, dude.
Aw, thanks, Jim. Aw.
Yeah.
There's one other thing I was gonna say. Oh yeah, Seaman. Jim.
Yeah, Seaman!
Seaman is coming back on the 3DS.
I'm really excited because
It's like the best news ever.
That is a
Yes.
game, because I think I've said before, I never really grew up with the Dreamcast. So Seaman's just this thing I've heard about and seen pictures of. So I am so excited to finally get a chance. And I'm sure we've heard rumors about it before. It's
For
just
years now.
yeah, it's just really good to fucking hear it again and see actual, like, it's happening. And I
Yeah.
can't wait to finally experience. I can't wait to experience Seaman. And hopefully when we're at E3, we can enjoy that together. We can
I
enjoy
really hope
Seaman
so.
together.
You can't enjoy it for long. I don't know if you know that about Seaman. It's got sort of a shelf life. It doesn't when it gets old.
Jonathan Holmes spunk up my ass, is what I'm saying.
Wow, can you picture that? If I just saw your butthole and I was like, here we go, you know? Wow, what a weird adventure that would be.
It's mildly amusing when I say it. It's hilarious when you follow it up.
For sure. You're just being nice, for sure. But for people who don't know, Seaman is a Dreamcast game, like you said, that is... Nintendo, I guess, has come out and told a Japanese newspaper that they're taking other developers' abandoned franchises and just like, yeah, we'll just make it. We'll just take all the financial risk and put it on the 3DS because we want the 3DS to have more games and third parties might not be up for doing it. So
God, you know what that means.
I hope it means a straight port. That's
It means Nintendo of America is going to say, fuck that, and not bring it out here.
That's a good point. Rats. I don't know if it meant buying a Japanese 3DS to play Seaman. Just play it again. I don't even care if it's changed at all or if it's the sequel. There's a sequel that came out on the PS2 actually that I want, but even if it's just the Dreamcast version, I'd do it. Seaman is a.
Please tell me the sequel is literally called Seaman.
The sequel is not Seaman. It is Seaman 2.
Oh.
Man and like a flying fish bird man, and the cavemen have cell phones, and it's completely insane. They never even brought it out here, unfortunately. But I'll do a quick review of Seaman for the people who haven't played it. It is a virtual pet game where you're basically talking to one of the fish-human hybrids from Monty Python's Meaning of Life that show up on screen and just start talking to you for no reason. They saw that one part of Monty Python and were like, let's make an entire game about that. And it's hosted by Leonard Nimoy, and you, for about, I would say 10 minutes a day, can do new stuff with Seaman. You talk to him through the microphone and feed him and stuff like that. But there's not much more to do than 10 minutes a day, so it's a game that's kind of designed to be played a little bit every day. So you form a relationship with Seaman that's not too boring. And he says some amazing stuff towards the end. He convinced me that the Beatles might not be real. And I still sort of believe it. It's like one of the greatest moments in video game history, in my opinion. So yeah, Seaman, definitely play it.
Nice. And it's so suited to portable, like a 10-minute virtual pet. Like, that's perfect for a handheld.
Absolutely. But it's not like a Tamagotchi virtual pet where you're like, cuddling him the whole time. He's asking you questions like, you think you're so great, don't you? Why don't you shut up for a while? And then just like turns around. You're like, what a dick. Oh, and when he's a kid too, you take him from like this weird sort of fish egg stage of life until tadpole-y, and then they're like teenagers or like babies, and they just say stuff like Pablo, cholera. And then when they grow up and turn into teenagers, then they speak English and they become real dicks. And it makes you wish that they were 1-year-old, 2-year-olds again who can't talk. Just like real life, I'm told. A lot of people tell me they like their kids the most when they couldn't speak English yet. Ooh, that was a run. I just said some stuff about Seaman. That was my last gasp of energy, though, I think. I'm down.
Yeah, down for the count.
I'm down, yeah. Oh, one other thing.
Mm.
I got the new Adventure Time DVD sent to me in the mail just because the person who does the marketing for Adventure Time seems to like me. I told her I don't work for a cartoon website. I can't really promote this. She's like, just take it. They also did the promotion for El Shaddai. And I wanted to tell everyone that the new Adventure Time DVD that is not out yet is really awesome. It's got more shows on it, and the DVD itself looks like Lumpy Space Princess screaming, and I just looking at it a lot. Yeah, it's called "It Came from the Nightosphere." It's
So they're
very
still
good.
not doing full seasons.
No, they did 16 episodes on this DVD, and they're
Oh,
12.
yeah.
Yeah, that's more than the last one. The last DVD, which I bought with my actual money, was 12 episodes. So this is roughly another hour. It's an hour longer, and it's got some really good episodes. Do you know Power Animal? Have you seen that one, Jim?
Yes.
Where the giant like wolf head that looks pissed off and is wearing a hat on sideways
The
is the
party
god.
god.
Yeah, it's got the party god.
I'm the party god.
Yeah, I've already watched it like 3 times while doing other stuff, of course. So yeah, it's a great DVD, and I'll take pictures of Lumpy Space Princess and put them on Twitter later. That's it. Did you? But that's all I'll say. As long as you promise to promote Sup Holmes for me, Jim.
Yeah. Jonathan Holmes has a show every Sunday. It's called Sup Holmes. It's a live video podcast. He has special guests on. This past week, he had Alex Noisy and another guy from
Oh, you remembered?
Virgin Games. Hey, it's my job
Yeah.
to remember this stuff to talk about on Podtoid. It's a good show. It's on. I remember that. I can't remember when it's on.
It is on. That's okay. You remembered a lot. And it comes on 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the middle, you'll just have to do the math. It's either an hour, later or an hour before, depending on where you're adding from. And this week we're going to have Brian Provinciano, who is the pretty much sole developer of Retro City Rampage, a game that Destructoid is featured prominently in. Brian's been working on this game, I think, for like 10 years, and he's something like 24. So basically his entire adult life, then some, has been spent trying to make this game. And it's finally coming out. Geez, what was it? May? He just announced it today. It's coming to the PS Vita now and PS3. It's coming to like every console, including WiiWare and Xbox Live Arcade. He'll be on to talk about his process in making that game and forgotten genres of games that he's tried to incorporate, and how he thinks gaming has making a game has changed over the years, as well as what's really the best platform to work on these days. Because that's always changing too. So that'll be fun. Brian Provinciano, Sunday, the 20. Was that the 5th? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. Yeah, one of those days. Yeah.
And then you said you weren't going to talk.
I know.
I couldn't have done that. I couldn't promote that like that. As for myself, you can always catch my shows on escapistmagazine.com. Please do, because they actually sent money, and it was quite a nice amount. So I'd like more of that. Help me buy a camera and stuff to make the shows look better. But escapistmagazine.com every Monday at 11 a.m. Central, usually. This week's one was about Ubisoft, and that was it. It was just me shouting at Ubisoft for like 6 minutes. So that's worth watching. We have, by the time this goes up, a Syndicate review will be up on Destructoid.com. I'm very proud of what I wrote, because I think I really explained myself beautifully. And I don't say that lightly, because I'm very critical of my work, but I'm really proud of this review. But that's not going to stop people being upset with it, I think, because I'm sorry, I did not enjoy... Well, I mean, I enjoyed what Syndicate had to offer, but it was nothing more than just an FPS. There's really, when I finished playing it, my thoughts were, well, that was a first-person shooter. And people thought I was being purposefully vague when I tweeted that. It's not. I wasn't doing it because I was under embargo or anything. That's literally... That sums up what the new Syndicate is. It's a first-person shooter, and it's more of a first-person shooter than any other first-person shooter that ever first-person shooted. So, yeah, that's going up. Otherwise, we've got more Vita coverage on Destructoid, and I'm very proud of the work Dale and I have done. Have Dynasty Warriors next, so that review is going to be up on Detoid. And I think that's about it. Oh, and Gamefront, I've started, or I will be starting to do a lot more work for Gamefront.com, because they're re-strategizing to do a lot of PC coverage, and I don't really do that on Detoid, so I'm going to do some PC coverage for them on the side, just a few bits and bobs that I wouldn't really fit what I do on Detoid, so check that out. I'm going to be a busy boy. I'm basically going to be running 2 full-time jobs. Which, it's going to be good. It's, I like to feel like I'm working hard.
Yeah, you enjoy those crunch times when it comes to when you November getting and all that stuff. So it'll kind of be like that all the time, I'd assume, for you for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully not that bad all the time. But I think
something like that.
It's about time I'm going to start really thinking about vacations and things.
Yeah. They make all the difference, I think. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Sup Holmes, that show, which people are getting on me for being an egoist for calling it Sup Holmes. I didn't name it that. Hamza Aziz did. Hamza said, you need to make a show called Sup Holmes so we can make t-shirts that say Sup Holmes on them. That's the only reason that show exists. I would never think to do that. And I wrote the theme song for the show that just makes fun of how awful I look now. Intentionally, because I want people to know I don't think I'm great at all. That said, if you want to listen to the podcast version of it, which has me on it and the various developers, it's on Libsyn.com. Just look up Sup Holmes, Libsyn. And I put links to it in all the posts. So yeah, it's on MP3 as well. If you don't have time for a video podcast, you can do that too.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about that. It's another milestone in our adventure on Podtoid, Jim.
Yeah.
We've lost another friend to the world of real jobs. Oh,
and our friends fall on their knees, but we keep on marching on. We climb the hills to see what we see. We talk about pedophiles and drink tea. So join us, friends, join us, foes. Listen to Podtoid, what will we talk about? Who fucking knows?
I'm not saying anything because I want that to be the end of the show.
I've actually got to just do my usual. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to Podtoid. I've been your host, Jim Sterling. I've been joined by Max Scoville for the last time for a while, but he will be back. And Jonathan Holmes. You can, subscribe to us on iTunes, RSS. Please keep on writing iTunes reviews. They help us out, and you've been very kind to do so. You can go on Amazon.com and buy an Android app that'll deliver the show right to your phone because of reasons. So do that. Thank you, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Great show, Jim.
Yeah, it went all right, didn't it?